if you feel like I do and are called to a spiritual life and a non-religious life, and also feel a draw to spirits of Christ or Yeshua or Jesus, however you refer to him, I prefer Yeshua because Jesus wasn't his name. Even though that spirit might figure out what you're praying about or what you're saying, but even the letter J didn't even exist back then. So, it's a little weird to me when I refer to someone not by their name. But if that's where you're at, then I share this kind of a little somber, a little heavy video with you, but it's also beautiful. It's just I have a strange tone in my voice because I went to a church last night and received some really wild prayers over me. And it's hard for me to accept certain blessings or anointings, perhaps, which is a big word, because I have so much disdain for religion and for spiritual narcissism and for people that trump themselves up into something in order to take advantage of others and to inflate their perceived place in the world so that other people will give them money or respect or admiration or follow them. And there are some people that are meant to do that, and that there's a lot of beauty and goodness and insight and peace and healing that can come from people who desire to serve in that way. And for a long time, I've definitely desired to serve in that way. And I've had a very interesting spiritual walk in life and have had some great mentors and some terrible ones, and have been really traumatized by spiritual teachers that were in my life, and have worked really hard to come back into a centered, grounded place, and I've heard it called spiritual psychosis. And it's a little bit of a strong word, but something along those lines I have experienced because I've been taken advantage of, and former versions of me that were codependent really expressed themselves, and narcissistic people really took advantage of that, and that caused a lot of problems for me, and especially spiritual narcissistic people. And so last night when I got to this church, as soon as I walked in, and I'm not making this about me, even though it's a story about me, I share this with the intention of inspiring others to deepen their desire to have a relationship with the divine and to seek out this being that we call Yeshua, and inviting you to figure out what that being desires and how that being can complement your life and give you a level of peace and power and joy and wisdom that, in my experience, hasn't been present in a lot of the New Age teachings and other teaching. I've been around, I've read a lot, studied a lot, had a lot of mentors, really gone deep on many different faiths and out there ideas, and a lot of it hits, and a lot of it is valid, and a lot of it is worthy of integrating into our spiritual identities. And a lot of it is delusion and distraction and divisive. And, I don't get, in my current awareness and understanding, I don't really get on the devil Satan kick. There's something about that just doesn't feel accurate to me, so I don't really talk about the devil and Satan. I do have a feeling that there are dark, challenging forces to reality. Um, and I don't know what to call them. Stephen Pressfield, if you know me, you know that I love him. And he talks about that force as resistance, and how it's a force. It's not so much like an individual malevolent spirit, but it is a force of reality that is ego derived. And if you go back into the Sumerian texts that are the basis of our reality in many, many ways, I mean, they are the oldest texts on the planet. And if you research the lineage of modern Bible texts, they go back to Sumeria, and with a very high degree of detail and duplication, you can see that the Christian stories and the Bible stories really go back there. And in those histories, the Satan and Saturn and this, malefic, oh, I've yawned so much. It's like a emotional energy shift talking about this stuff for some reason. But those beings have a lineage going back to Sumer and to these two brothers, Enki and Enlil, who were the legendary progenitors of Sumeria. And Sumerians would call them the powerful ones, and that they were the originators of mankind, and that they were like an interdimensional being that helped to create us genetically. And if you look at the stories of the Elohim in the Bible, it says right there, let us make man in our image. Wait a minute, our image. How could it be our image when there's just supposed to be God creating mankind? That doesn't make any sense. Unless it does make sense, and unless there were a collection of beings that did create it. And that's something that opens up a lot of channels of conversation to figure out what that really means. And was that aliens? Was that interdimensional beings? Was that the fallen angels? There's a lot of interesting roads to go down from there that I'm trying to figure out too. And I don't pretend to have all the answers. I really don't. And I do know there's something to this. There's something to what I'm saying. And this pastor last night, he talked about so many things that he couldn't have known. As soon as I walked in, he started talking about Colorado, and I was literally on the phone with a friend and business partner out in Colorado that afternoon, talking about doing retreats in Colorado, which is where we've done retreats previously at Agape Valley. Beautiful property, amazing property. We're going to be doing more there this summer. That's literally what I was talking about for like an hour earlier that day. Then the service goes on, and a lot of it hit. Then a lot of it felt, kind of religious-y, which doesn't vibe with me. And just like calling God like our Father, that feels like half the story to me. I'm into the divine masculine, I'm into the divine feminine, I'm into these principles. And I don't feel like you can call God either one of them. That's my current understanding. Unless God is, the catalyst, and, the mother is, the substrate of reality, which is accurate in certain ways. So, but still, like calling God just pure masculine in him, I'm open to being corrected on that one, but it doesn't land for me. And then we went deeper into how I'm supposed to be working with sexually traumatized women, which has been a calling for me for a long time. And I have dealt with some, in a healing way, in a prayerful way, in an acts of service way. And I'm really called to that. And I've often thought I'm unworthy of that in many ways, but I'm definitely called to that life. And yeah. And then like the whole church prayed for me, and like everyone was putting their hands on me and pointing their hands towards me, and this whole crazy thing. It was wild. It was really, really wild. And yeah, I went to the park this morning and laid down and prayed and seeking knowledge and understanding on this, and definitely feel like I'm chief of the sinners in a lot of ways and not qualified to be doing that. And I know what I'm called to do. I know what I'm drawn to do, and it's this, and it's that. So yeah, if that resonates with you in some kind of way, let me know. And I'll put the links below to subscribe to our email list to stay in contact. And I'm praying real hard to figure out where this is supposed to go, because I do know that through our meditations and through our other work, that something's happening with me and in the way that I'm called to speak. And I'm here to be held accountable, to be grounded and humble, and not trump myself up. And I know that there's a voice inside me that's here to get out, and that there's a profound desire to be benevolently powerful in a really beautiful way. And that's what I'm here to do. So yeah, I think that's all I've got to say about that. Thanks for listening. Appreciate you subscribing, and I look forward to seeing this evolve. And if you're outside the church, but you feel the draw to Christ, Yeshua, Mary Magdalene, you're looking for fellowship, you're looking for community, then that's what's going to be coming to light around me and around us. And it already had in certain ways, but it's going to continue evolving. So stay tuned, subscribe, hit the link below for the email list, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.